The world's maritime sector will have its eyes on seafarers globally to commemorate them in recognition of their incredible role in sea trade transport. This year's theme is MARPOL at 50, our commitment goes on. It places emphasis on sustainable shipping practices and aims to honor seafarers' dedication at sea. SABC News reporter Vanessa Poonah joins us from Sea Point. Vanessa, you're very close to the very beautiful beach there, and also lots of maritime activity in that area. But I think a really great place to start would be even just to explain to our viewers what on earth sustainable maritime industry actually looks like, what it means.
Yes, good morning to you. And when you talk about the beautiful ocean, which is literally to my left-hand side, South Africa, you would know, has a coastline spanning some 3,000 kilometers. We have 8 commercial ports which handles millions of tons of cargo for import and export annually. And of course, when we talk about sustainable shipping, sustainable maritime practices, that's exactly the focus of this year's annual event. Joining me to speak about the Day of the Seafarer and its importance for South Africa in its context is Transport Minister Sindisiwe Chikunga. Minister, very warm good morning to you. So let us start let's start tackling the issue on the importance of sustainable shipping. That's essentially what we're talking about in honoring the seafarers, but also we're talking about marine protection.
Thank you very much. Like we know, South Africa is a member state to IMO, and we form part of whatever that IMO does, and we therefore are joining the maritime communities of the world in celebrating our seafarers. As you have indicated, we do have our ports in South Africa, wherein many of the ships call about 12,000 per year, and of course others, they pass by our waters. We remain responsible for that, but of course in those ships there are seafarers that ensure that as we also celebrate this year the 50 years of the anniversary of MARPOL, which is an international convention on prevention of pollution from ships. We are also saying as South Africa, we are also a signatory to that convention, and that actually talks to keeping our oceans clean. That also talks to how we dump whatever that is happening in our ships. But I just want also to say to our people who are listening today that as a matter of fact, 80% of pollution of our seas happens from the land side, and therefore the dumping of plastics, the dumping of anything in our rivers, it endangers the marine life, but also it endangers even the vessels themselves. And we still want to have them because they actually transport and sail about 90% of anything that we have in the country. The trade that happens between countries, it happens in our rivers, in fact in our oceans, and that is why it's important that we keep them clean. It's important that we keep our marine life healthy. It's important that our ships, our seafarers as well, they participate in the implementation of this convention. But we remember them today as part of IMO, as a country, to say we have these men and women who are unsung heroes, who ensure that there is trade that happens, that moves in between countries, who alone leave their families and go into waters with people that sometimes they don't know. As a matter of fact, you get into a vessel, you have a seafarer from Philippines, another one is from this, and you've got the language barrier, and you've got to work with them for days in oceans, in the seas that you don't even know. The depth of the ocean is experienced by them, and I think it's important as countries that we celebrate them, and that is why we have taken our time also as South Africa to say let's come together and let's say well done to our seafarers, but of course motivate the young people, because also these can create job opportunities. We would want to see South Africa also producing seafarers, so that we don't talk about seafarers from Philippines, but we say Philippines and South Africa as well, because we have the capacity. We are strategically located around there, down here in the Cape route. And we think that the vessels that pass by can actually take our seafarers so that they too can have the sea time, but they too can find employment in these international vessels.
Minister, thank you so much for your time. Of course, Transport Minister, they're just giving us an overview of today's celebration of Day of Seafarers, and also then the commitment to the policies and treaties around marine protection and ocean protection, and of course those celebrations due to get underway with a host of panel discussions taking place here in Sea Point today.